What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and when Disney and Lucasfilm made the decision to fire Gina Carano, so many people said, if you do this, Disney, if you do this, Lucasfilm, if you bend the knee to cancel culture and give in to the online mob of freaks, then you will forever be held to that precedent. They will never stop, and they will move to someone else next. And that's exactly what they're going to do. As so many of us predicted they would, Rosario Dawson is next on the hit list. Ahsoka Tano will be canceled at some point by these same people who got Gina Carano fired. And Bounding into Comics did an article about this. Star Wars stans set sights on Rosario Dawson as next potential target of cancel culture. And I talked about the article they're referencing the other day. After celebrating stans who got Gina Carano fired, the online freaks who use their parents' Disney Plus account, who have no idea how real life actually works, celebrating these people, they talked about who the next target is going to be. The Ahsoka problem, that they would be moving on to Rosario Dawson, that a lot of people think that Rosario Dawson is transphobic, even though there is absolutely no evidence in any way, shape, or form to support that. And even though Rosario Dawson is a leftist, she's dating Cory Booker, even though she has shown support for the LGBTQ plus community literally for years. None of that will matter. It doesn't matter that she has probably opposite politics of Gina Carano. What will matter is that the cancel culture freaks have set their sights squarely on her. And right after that, I was alerted to this article right here by Ichibaka. All things Ahsoka. This is supposed to be a webpage celebrating Ahsoka Tano. But now there's a problem with Ahsoka because, yes, Rosario Dawson. And if you thought we were making this up, if you thought that, there's no way they could really go after her, right? It's just a couple people. Yeah, it's just a couple people. It was only a couple people that were the ones that got Gina Carano fired, that put this false narrative out there to label her as something that she is definitively not, that got the mainstream media in Lucasfilm to label her something absolutely slanderous. They will do the same thing and already are doing the same thing with Rosario Dawson. Look at this insane article. Let's talk about Rosario Dawson and trans rights. I've been wrestling with how to approach the subject of Rosario Dawson for months now, even going so far as abandoning this site for a while in order to avoid dealing with the mixed reactions to her role in The Mandalorian. It's not mixed. Mixed would be if it was, 50-50, 60-40. It's not mixed. It is 99% of society is completely fine with Rosario Dawson. Maybe you don't like her specifically cast in the role, but it's not because anything that she thinks or believes. It is the freaks, the less than 1% out there who think that she is somehow transphobic, who don't want her there because they want her canceled. They want her in the gutter, jobless forever. We saw that with Gina. She stood up and fought back. We'll see what happens with Rosario. Heck, I'm still working through my own mixed feelings towards her and her interpretation of Ahsoka. She did a commendable job of bringing one of my favorite Star Wars characters to live action. I have huge respect for her philanthropic efforts, but it was hard to fully enjoy this moment when knowing that there were some troubling allegations hanging over her head, and so many fans were devastated that an alleged transphobe had been cast in the role. So if you are alleged to have done something, that's just the bottom line. You can't cast anyone if they've ever been alleged to have done something at any point, even if those allegations were subsequently dropped. That is ridiculous. That is cancel culture. That's what it is. This is disgusting, and these idiots are playing right into it. As a cisgender fan of certain privilege, I don't think it's my place to lecture people on the need to separate art from the artist, but I do feel like it's my responsibility to help fellow cisgender fans understand why our transgender and non-binary peers haven't been able to feel excited about seeing their beloved heroine make the leap from animation to live action. This is insanity. The words that are being used now, cisgender, my cisgender privilege, our trans and non-binary brothers and sisters, or maybe I shouldn't say brothers and sisters. Maybe that's gendered language that I shouldn't use. These people are crazy. It is literal insanity. What's the story so far? This goes in to the story of why Rosario Dawson has been alleged to be a transphobe, but it doesn't provide the whole story. Crazy. What's the story so far? On October 22nd, NBC News reported that a transgender man named Dedrick Finley had filed a lawsuit against Rosario Dawson and her family, alleging he had been subject to transphobic harassment and assault when he was working for them in LA. Finley, who'd been a friend of the family, spoke out about his experience in an exclusive interview a few weeks later, where he detailed the events that led to the lawsuit and the problems he faced as a transgender man cut off from his support system. He talked about the high rate of housing discrimination faced by trans people. All right, so 1 in 5 transgender individuals have been homeless at some point in their lives. Do we really think that has to do with people not giving housing to transgender people? Or do you think that potentially it might be linked to the fact that there could be some other mental illnesses associated with these things, and homelessness and mental illness has a very high correlation? No, it couldn't be that. Has to be they didn't want me to rent an apartment because I was a trans person. It must be the case. The Dawson family did not respond to the media's request for comments. No, because it was garbage. It was absolute trash. Now, this is that article that they're talking about. Rosario Dawson and her family sued over alleged transphobic assault. But what this person fails to do, right? What this person fails to do is talk about the fact that all these alleged allegations were dropped. The Mandalorian star Rosario Dawson addresses dropped transphobia lawsuit allegations from 2019. And you can see in August, 18 of the 20 accusations were withdrawn, including the allegations of misgendering and discrimination. And the final 2 claims are leveled against Dawson's mother rather than herself. So, let's just get this straight. You're saying that she was alleged to be a transphobe, but then the allegations were dropped. Anything involving discrimination, misgendering, all that were dropped definitively. But it doesn't matter to these freaks, because look at this. The case was still ongoing at time of writing, but if you're interested in following it, you can follow the progress here. But what you failed to do is mention the fact that these allegations were withdrawn. You are disgusting. You are a vile piece of shit, whoever it is that wrote this article. While I do believe people should be presumed innocent until proven guilty, you clearly don't. The fact remains the American legal system is notorious for favoring the wealthy and privileged, and the economic and social disparity between Riley and Dawson is astronomical. As some have pointed out, a verdict of not guilty is not necessarily a sign of innocence in a country where celebrities can wield considerable influence in court. What this person is saying, the narrative that you are perpetuating, is that if any rich person, if any person of status is accused of anything, then we can never be sure they didn't do it. So you should just cancel them. You should just cancel that person because a few internet freaks with pronouns in their bios are upset about it. This is reality. These are the segment of Star Wars fans that Disney is catering to, that Disney is listening to. They have displayed that. That's why this is such a big problem. That's why this is so worrisome. Representation matters, but so do trans rights. Saying that it's not enough that Rosario Dawson is a leftist. It's not enough that she is a person of color, Puerto Rican and Afro-Cuban descent. It doesn't matter that she has supported the transgender and the LGBTQ community in the past. No, all that matters are these fake bullshit allegations. And this is talking about, should you boycott the upcoming TV series? What can you do? What can you do to help transgender people in the Star Wars community? Educate yourself on trans rights. Make a donation to a transgender rights organization. Read articles about people's experience of being transgender. This is my favorite too right here. Listen to fandom podcasts with trans hosts and or guest speakers. And elevate trans voices and support trans creators whenever you can. You know what you should do? You should listen to whoever the fuck you want. You should watch whatever YouTube channel you want, listen to whatever podcast you want, regardless of the gender or gender choice or whatever the person's preferred pronouns are at any given time in life. That's what you should do. You shouldn't be beholden to trying to elevate someone just because they identify as a certain thing. In the same way that you shouldn't just choose, if it was me, I wouldn't choose who I listen to based on the color of their skin or by their gender. This is insane, but if you didn't think it was happening, it is happening. That is what these people are doing. They are moving to Rosario Dawson next. And I'm going to go over this entire article at some point. It's from the Unblocked podcast. They did an entire in-depth analysis of the Gina Carano firing hashtag and the people who started it. But one important thing to note is at the end, they do mention who they're after next. Now do Rosario Dawson. Fire Gina Carano's good, but Rosario needs to be fired too. Those are their next targets. Make no mistake. People have warned everyone about this, that Disney and Lucasfilm, as soon as you bend the knee and establish this precedent, it will never end. These weirdos who are not fans, they're just obsessive freaks. Again, A lot of them are teenagers. A lot of them are using their parents' Disney Plus account. These are the people that you have decided to bend the knee to and cater to, and you have destroyed everything that Star Wars was built on before that. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.